Tito's criticized some of your recent performances. What do you think about his recent performances?
I've watched all of Tito's fights. It's hard for me to remember. He's a Hall of Famer. He won his world championship. I don't dispute his career at all, but he wasn't me. If I would have been given my opportunity before 2005, way back when he did, he never would have been the champion. And neither would the guy with the mohawk and the tattoos on his skull. I would have beaten all of those guys. And those were great fighters, but they weren't me.
What are you expecting in this fight against Tito Ortiz? What are you expecting?
I don't have a lot of expectations, man. Eventually my music will hit those speakers and I'll make that walk. I mean, that ref says fight, I promise you I will. And what happens after that, we're all going to find out together.
Is he making too big of a deal about when you pinned him on his birthday back 20 years ago?
I was flattered by that. I was flattered he even remembered it. I've never brought that up in my whole career. He brought it up, so I thought that it was fair game. But, that meant something to me. Tito Ortiz had already been in the UFC. And a lot of people weren't following it back then. Back in the 90s, this is before the network deals and Big Fox and the exposure and ESPN, all this other stuff. I was following him. My father was following him. We cared about it. We liked it. And it was a big deal to get matched up with Tito. It was very exciting. I was flattered that he brought it up.
What do you feel about facing him now? Are you happy you're getting this chance? How do you feel?
Yeah, I wanted to fight Tito way back in the 90s, back when he was champion. There's only 2 divisions back then. I was a little small for the weight class, but that was the weight class. If you wanted to do this work, they had light heavyweight and then they had heavyweight. When I finally got my opportunity, more divisions had been added, including middleweight. And I didn't think the match would ever happen. I thought it was going to be something I was just going to have to tell my buddies, man, I could have always beaten that guy, and they just have to take my word for it. But I was either right when I told all my peers that, or I was wrong. But we are going to find out on the 21st. Easy way or hard way, either way, we're going to get the answer.
Chael, you're one of the...
Say again?
With that said, how important is this victory in this fight?
Man, they're all important to me. I like to win. I'm a competitor. I've never had a fight that I didn't take seriously and that I was willing to do anything within the rules or outside the rules to win.
Chael, you were one of the faces of the UFC for a very long time. You're wearing the Bellator, black and red now. How does that feel?
I'm a fight fan, man. I watch when Mayweather fights. I don't know who the promoter is. I watch the big UFC fights. I watch the Bellator fights. I even watch WrestleMania. I usually go live. So I like the competition. I like the production value. It feeds my ego. I could drag Tito outside right now and beat him up, but I would much rather wait until January 21st when millions of people can tune in.
He has said that this is probably his last fight. He's going to retire after this fight. Is there any added meaning in that for you, that this is one of the greatest 205ers of all time's last fight?
Well, he acts like it's his choice. He acts like he's not the first guy that I've retired. It's kind of a foregone conclusion. There's been many other people in my career that after they get out of there, they say, I'm done. Tito's just going to be one more.
Chael, the two of you have never been friends. Why do you think he takes you so personally, everything you do so personally? Does it really go back to that fight in Bakersfield?
It could have. I didn't know Tito remembered it. I really thought that was a cool thing, for a guy that went on and got in the Hall of Fame. I don't really know what's in Tito's head, and I'm not too concerned with it. All I can do is take care of myself. I've worked hard. I listen to my coaches. I still got a weigh-in in front of me, so I got to go focus on that when I leave here. But, it's business as usual. And they could put Tito in there, or they could replace him between now and then. I will be ready to fight.
You've never been as nice as in the lead up to this fight. Are you trying not to talk smack and not to get under his skin?
No, I just don't need Tito in this fight. Most guys need a dance partner, myself included, but there is no bigger fight than a grudge match except for a comeback fight. This is a comeback fight. At the same time, it's a retirement fight. The story tells itself. I've got nothing to sell here. This is the first time I'm not in on the pay-per-view. This isn't on pay-per-view. It's live, free, and only on Spike TV. I have nothing to sell anybody if I wanted. I'm telling people, I'm giving them an opportunity. The greatest fighter of all time, Chael Sonnen versus Tito Ortiz. It's legend. That's in fairness, he is. It's all going down. It's going down Saturday night, and it's free. 9 in the East, 6 in the West.
How you doing with weight?
I got about 11 pounds still. Got about 11 pounds. So I'm going to have some uncomfortableness in the next 48 hours, but I did it to myself. I have plenty of notice. I got nobody to blame but this handsome
fella. You got the
fella.
sauna lined up?
How do you like that? We'll see. I don't know if I can get to a sauna. I'll be sweating somewhere.
Is there a certain way you would like to win?
Say again?
Is there a certain way you would like to win?
No. I'm going to go out there and fight hard. I look for performance more than I look for outcome. One of my best wrestling matches I ever had, I lost the match, but the performance was great. And I'm just focused on performing and competing hard, keeping a high pace. A couple of positions I want to stay out of, and stay out of those positions and then see where the night goes.
Can you guys be friends after this?
I hope Tito has a wonderful life. I got nothing against him, and I also don't dispute his career. I think he could beat everybody in the world. I think he fought all the right guys. I think his place in the Hall of Fame is very deserving. My one and only comment is I could have beaten him and I could have beaten all those other guys. I didn't get my shot until I was 33 years old. I left a lot on the table. I was fighting down at the dog park for nothing against a lot tougher guys than Tito was fighting on pay-per-view.
Is anything going to change the outcome from what would have happened then to now? Is it going to be the same fight it would have been like?
It's the same fight. We're the same guys doing the same sport and the same rules. The weight class is a little bit different, but when I started fighting, we didn't even have weight. I don't know anything about these weigh-ins and rules and wearing gloves. I mean, this is all part of today's pussified society, man. That's not where I grew up. In the mean streets of Westland, Oregon, you do not ask a guy what he weighs if he bumps into you.
One or two more, guys.
You said you were jealous. What do you mean? Of his fame, his success?
Yeah, you know, Tito got. I wanted to be in the UFC. I wanted to be in mixed martial arts. Bellator wasn't around then. Pride wasn't around then. Just to set a time frame for you. Tito had already been there, and I stayed in college. I pursued NCAA goals and Olympic aspirations, and he left school 6 months after I pinned him. He was the UFC world champion. And he was very good. Again, I don't dispute his level of success, but he was not me. I beat him in the amateurs. I beat guys better than him in the practice room. I knew exactly where I stood. There was one guy in the world that could whip my ass, and his name was not Tito Ortiz. It was Randy Couture, and that was the only guy.
Chael, after Tito Ortiz, what are your future plans with Bellator?
I will be fighting Wanderlei Silva the next time I see Wanderlei Silva. I assume somebody will try to sanction that and put it in a ring. And I don't say that with any bravado, and he will tell you the same thing. If Wanderlei was here right now, I would be fighting Wanderlei right now.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.